All right, apologies for the roughness of this. I am not set up or generally equipped to do this kind of thing, but I've been thinking about this for much of the day, and it's resulted in diagrams and writing, and it generally doesn't make a lot of sense without a huge explanation, and just seemed easier to do visually. So the idea here, if you'll pardon the quiver, is something akin to Tiny Fate. The three aspects down there are effectively the entirety of a character sheet. There can be consequences, whatever. But the idea being that there are aspects, they're on the table, they're physical things. The index cards with the beast and the dangerous forest are aspects the GM is putting down on the scene to start things up. Now, the general idea is that the GM frames the scene by saying, hey, all right, well, the beast is fierce, that's a problem. And the beast is huge, and that's a problem. But the fact that he's ravenous is not really a problem yet, but I'm leaving that blank there to kind of signify that I might swing that way. Similarly, that we're in a dangerous forest, that's sort of ambient. That doesn't help either side, so that's sort of there, and we know that it's there. Now, then when it comes to the player's turn, which is after this has been framed, the idea is that you can invoke an aspect as part of taking an action. And for Fate purists, this is totally removed from Fate. It's using Fate terminology and ideas, but don't think of this as Fate. Think of this as something that's using Fate trappings. But the general idea is that the dice that the players got are also the currency that they have. So they equate to the Fate points. And Mongo Strong drops a +1 there, and describes rushing up at the beast with his club in hand. And since Mongo fast, Mongo ducks under the beast's mighty claws and continues to fight. So now we've got two different. We got a +2 on the player side, and we got a +2 on the GM side. So right now we've got about a tie, and maybe we've got some guidelines for breaking that out. But maybe Mongo says, oh, and you know what? I'm going to run up a tree and then jump down and drop down on this guy. So that's how Mongo will invoke this other thing. But maybe the GM goes, hey, Mongo, you're conflicted about using violence. As you are plummeting down from the top of the tree, the creature looks up, and with surprising intelligence in its eyes, you realize that this is not just some beast, but a living creature who you are about to kill. And Mongo's now feeling conflicted. We're back down to a tie. We do this back and forth. It's a very simple example, but the theoretical idea is then at the end of it, GM uses up his stuff, the blank probably goes back. The ones that have been spent as bonus are moved, the minus gets added back to the player pool. Some manner of economy refreshes the pool and goes forward. I'm super not worried about that right now, but as a general idea, the scene wraps up, currency shifts a little bit, and we continue to go on. The advantages of this in my mind are that it offers a sort of direct manipulation of currency, something akin to the Marvel Stone system, but by making the dice a physical component that can have a plus or minus or blank, I think there's a lot of mechanical toothiness there. One possibility is to have blanks effectively count as ones and have pluses count as twos. It seems a little too fiddly, but I kind of like the idea. The other option is I kind of like the idea that having a blank down means that maybe this could go one way or another, and when that's determined could be its own question. So a lot of ideas in terms of what this could be, but I just wanted to get across that core idea of a game predicated on the aspects physically being on the table and the dice being manipulated to reflect the situation rather than rolled. I don't know if this can stick or not, but it's been rattling around my craw. It obviously won't work for every table. There are assumptions about vision. There are assumptions about mobility that would have to be addressed in a final product. But since I don't really know how this works as a whole yet, I need to sort of put a pin in those and keep going forward. Anyway, I have no idea how this recording turned out. And if it turned out okay, then you'll be seeing it. And if not, then you'll never know. So thank you all.